Some Magic cards are just way too powerful to ever reprint again, but they can certainly sneak in a different form. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, and welcome to my video on yet another Commander 2018 spoiler. Today, we are going to talk about Magus of the Balance. Now, this isn't one where I need to show it to you in parts or anything, so we're going to start out right away talking about the card. What do you get? You get a creature that for 1 white and 1 colorless is a 2/2 that has the ability to be sacrificed to create a balance effect. As you can see, it's described over there on the side. Basically, what you do is equalize the number of creatures in play, the number of lands in play, and the number of cards in each player's hand. That's how it works. Pretty simple and straightforward. I really like it. Artwork looks great. Now, what I want to do is I want to take a look at where this card came from, because the original card that this is based on, which is Balance, is an amazingly broken card. It's the most ironic Magic card around. It's called Balance, but it is the most unbalanced nonsense. 1 white, 1 colorless, and you do the exact same equalization that I just explained. So whoever has more creatures sacrifices X creatures until they both have the same amount. Same thing happens with lands and cards in hand. Now you think to yourself, well, that seems to have decently fair. Like, what's the big problem? It doesn't count artifacts, it doesn't count enchantments, and the player playing it decides when it happens. The amount of card advantage you can gain from Balance is absurd. There's a concept in old school Magic, because for those of you who don't know, this card came out in alpha. We're talking like 93, 94, and this is before people even really bought singles. Like, we live in a day and age now where people buy single cards all the time. Like, that's how all Magic cards get distributed, basically. But back in the day, it was all about trading. Most people didn't want to buy singles at all, unless there was a card that was so ridiculous that it made them go, oh, okay, I changed my mind. That's what Balance did to me. I couldn't believe it when I read the card. I went, oh my God, this seems so incredibly good. And normally I would never even buy a single. I had never purchased a single card before. I would trade for them, but I wanted that Balance so bad that I didn't even think about going and trading for them. I was just like, I have to have this. Here's the crazy part. The card was so good that there was a second copy of Balance further back in the box that was priced cheaper. I paid $3 for my first Balance, and there was a $2 Balance in the same box. And the hilarious thing is, Balance is still a super cheap card, but the only reason for that is because it got reprinted in 4th edition. If Balance had not been reprinted after 3rd edition, after revised, it would be worth considerably more. The card is incredibly strong. I really enjoy the artwork too. I remember when I looked at it, I liked it. It's got this like knight with this crazy, the little wings on the side of his helmet look like, they make me think of like tropical flying snake creatures, which I thought was really cool. The concept, it's also like, I'm like, is this a wizard? Is this like a wizard knight holding up this Balance? The whole card was really neat to me. I just found it interesting art-wise. Now, they did give this Balance a few different recoats of paint. They gave it new artwork. They did a version with the angel on it, which looks really nice. And then we're going to move on to the Kev Walker Balance artwork, because this actually ties in to the Magus' artwork as well. So Kev Walker did this Balance artwork, and it's incredibly evocative. You have this, he's got the same kind of like knight, like winged helm inspired setup. You can see he's got this amazing staff set of Balance and everything. And take a look at the head of the staff as well. Notice that, because that will play over on the Magus as well. So he's got the staff here with the Balance. He's standing on like a forbidding winter peak somewhere. And you can see the snow all lapping up on his and building up on his cloak as it billows around him, as he just stands there like this, boom, up, like just immovable, like the master of the Balance. And what I really enjoy about the artwork is how it subtly conveys how unbalanced the balancing is, because you do have the staff, right? And the balance on the staff is perfectly even. However, where's the staff? The staff isn't here right in front of him, right? The staff is over to the side. So it's like a one-sided balancing, which I really like. It really It's really subtle, but it's a really clever way of illustrating the concept of the card. Now, you move over into the Magus of the Balance, Magus of the Balance, and it's also done by Kev Walker. And it has very similar aspects to the art. We have the forbidding sort of mountaintop in the winter, the same kind of feel. If you look at the Magus, if you look at the staff he's holding, look at the head of it. It's the same as the head of the staff of Balance. Could this even be, when you have that Balance earlier, could it be actually a Magus of the Balance up there on the hill? It looks like a very similar character. Another thing I really enjoy is you've got, well, first of all, you got the energy lancing out of the bottom of the staff down into the snow, which looks cool. But you have his other hand up here, and it contrasts, like, it gives a symmetrical kind of feel to the staff and everything. It gives a balance kind of feel to it, like, we got one here, we got one here. But on one hand, we have a magical staff, and on the other hand, we have just an empty hand with crackling energy around it. And that signifies, like, the advantage, where it's like the empty-handed opponent. I genuinely love the way this is transmitted. I like balancing effects like this. There's this card called Balancing Act as well. Since we're on the subject, I'll mention this as well because I think it's a lot of fun. This one is a little different, wherein that all you do is you just equalize the number of permanents you each have. So you count up the number of cards you each have in play, and those have to equalize out. So what I did was I played it as a combo with Sky Swallower. And the Sky Swallower, when that comes out, you give all your permanents to your opponent. So I would just put a bunch of mana in my mana pool, play this thing, give all my permanents to my opponent, and then play Balancing Act and go, you pick one thing to keep in play, I'm going to keep my 8/8 flyer. Let's do it. So that was just a fun little note that just popped into my head thinking about the Magus here. I really like the way that they have done this. The Magus of the Balance. Guys, you got to understand, the reason I'm getting it all twisted up here is these are cycles, right? They've done a bunch of different Maguses of the in different colors. They did a set based on lands, they did a set based on artifacts, and now they're doing a set based on sorceries. So this is the fourth card in the sorcery cycle. We have yet to see the green Magus sorcery version from the cycle, so that will be coming. So that's why I'm screwing up the names here. But the Magus of the Balance is 2 mana for a 2/2 Grizzly Bear that for 5 mana gives you that balance effect, which I really like. I think it's really solid. It's great in the cube, and it has the it's not the same kind of broken that Balance is, because you can see it coming, you can deal with the creature coming. It costs 5 to do it. It's got the same sort of issues that Restore Balance does, in that it gives your opponent time to say, this is coming. Whereas with the regular Balance, back in the day, you had no clue when it's coming. And trust me, as a guy who played with it, it was broken. You want an idea how broken it's get? Just combine it with Zoranor, boys. Boom. I'll just sacrifice all my lands. I happen to be playing a bunch of mana artifacts. It just gives you total control. Fantastic. Anyhow, thanks for coming by and hearing what I had to say on the subject. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.
This is Sean, the bicycle enthusiast, from the edge of the world itself, California. That's right, the sun's about to go into the ocean and die. That's what we see here in California every day. That's right. And together, we are Armageddon Crew. Together, we are Perp Media. Team Purple, the 6th color of magic. We'll see who's laughing in 6 billion years.
Call me